Hello, welcome to Thursday session segment episode of Knit the Books. I'm Vicki.
I'm Allie.
And today we're going to talk about what we're currently reading and if we know what we're going to do next.
Yes, because we're both only reading one book right now, which is so weird.
Very weird, although I did purchase mine yesterday for my next one. I'm just going to go ahead and start since I'm talking, if that's okay. I am currently listening to Wedding Cake Murder. It's a Joanne Fluke. It's a cozy mystery, and she has written, I don't know how many there are of these. The character is Hannah Swenson, and it's set in Minnesota, and she's the owner of a bakery. They have also, on the Hallmark Mystery Movie Channel, have turned some of these books into movies.
Oh, cool.
And Alison Sweeney from The Biggest Loser and Days of Our Lives.
Oh, that's not who I was thinking of then, so never mind.
Plays the character. And as much as I'm loving the story and the storyline, I'm having a very hard time with the narrator. Some of you may listen to these and love her. I don't. I don't know what it is. We were talking about it at work the other day, and I said I don't know what it is. I'm having a hard time with her. Part of it is because I've watched all the movies, and I hear Allison's voice as Hannah, and then I'm hearing this voice over here reading this book, and it's like, don't like it, but it's good. I've got 3 hours and 28 minutes remaining, and one of the things I really don't like, and I've been fast forwarding through, if anybody has read these little books, some of the recipes that are talked about in the chapter, like cookies or bars or pies or something that she's selling in the store, the recipe is going to be at the end of the chapter, and even Hannah's little tips. Well, the woman's reading the recipes, and then she's reading the tips. So I've been fast-forwarding through them because that kind of is distracting to me. It's like it's taken away from the book.
If you were physically reading the book,
that would be the next. I will skip them.
So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, unless it's a recipe that sounds really, really good. And it's like, oh, I might like to try to make that sometime. Then I will, after I have read the book, I go back lots of times and look at the recipes. But
I assume most people do. But I mean, I can't blame. I mean, when they do the audiobooks, they have to read it as it's written. Well, because I know when I listened to a Neil Gaiman book once, and he was reading his own book, and there was an interview at the end, so I listened to the interview, and he was talking about how, like, he had written something wrong, like, and it didn't get caught during the proofreading and editing process, and he wanted to change it when he was reading it, and they wouldn't let him. So, like, I guess he made a note of it to change it in the next release or whatever, but I thought that's always stuck with me. It's like, oh, so they literally have to read it as is, so. Well,
this one, the storyline's been fun. A Food Network channel. It's not Food Network, but a cooking channel show, and they're doing I think it's Best Desserts or something, and she's one of the contestants, and they go to New York for the first taping, and the winner of that session, or that challenge, they move them to their hometown. They get hometown advantage and move to either the restaurant or whatever it is, and she's just a little cookie company store in a hometown, and so she won, so they all are back there in Minnesota, and it's as cozy mysteries go, it's cute, and I love the storyline. I just don't like the reader.
It happens. I'm reading I See You by Claire McIntosh. She is the author of I Let It Go, which I read last year, I think before we started I guess maybe it been 2 years ago. That was last year. But I think I read it before we started podcasting, maybe, or I can't remember now. I'm about halfway through. I'm really, really liking it. This one is written in it's written in 2 points of view. We have Zoe Walker, and in hers, it's first person, and then we have Kelly, who I can't think of her last name, but she's like the she's a cop. And hers is written in second person, which I find that interesting that she would change the point of views. Is it second person? I think it's second person. I get those mixed up sometimes, but I'm pretty sure it's second. Anyway, so I find that interesting. So even though, like, this chapter will be all Zoe and this chapter will be all Kelly, even the point of views are written differently, I find that interesting. But this one's really good so far.
Good.
So what it is Zoe is on a train. She's commuting home from work one day, and she's looking through a newspaper. And at the end, it has, like, the personal ads, like the escort services and things. And she realizes that her picture's back there.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so this is her trying the story, and she shows it to her boyfriend and her kids, and her boyfriend's like, "That's not you. It doesn't look anything like you." But her kids are like, "Well, it looks kind of like you." So she kind of it stays in the back of her mind because it kind of creeps her out, but she doesn't really talk about it or think about it too much. But at the same time, it's always there. And then she realizes that she sees a picture of someone else. I don't remember if it was the next day or if it was like sometime then a week after, and she saw that person on the news earlier that day. She had been pickpocketed, or her purse, her keys had been taken out of her purse. And but then she saw her picture in the paper, and she's like, "That's weird." And there's a third time where she sees someone's picture in the paper, and she's like, "That person looks familiar," and it ends up being someone who was murdered. So she takes this information to the cops. So we're figuring it out. Like, why are their pictures showing up and everything like that. And, like, in the ad, it has a phone number and a website. But the phone number doesn't work, and the website you have to have a password to get into. And I'm just not the part where they're figuring out how to get into the website.
It sounds interesting.
It's really good so far. It's really well written. The characters are all really good so far, so I'm about halfway done. I'll probably finish it this weekend, so that one's been really good.
Good.
That was I See You by Claire McIntosh.
I do know what I'm going to head to next is Big Little Lies.
Oh, yeah.
By, I guess it's Liane, Lianemora. And I'll tell you why I want to do it. Well, for one thing, your sister's reading it. She says it's so good.
I've heard good things about it.
But there's a miniseries on HBO. And
I've heard good things about it too.
Yes, but I want to hear the book before I watch it. So I'm going to have to, I may not be able to, because I did notice on demand this morning that some of them they're only going to be on there till like the 14th. So that's
HBO.
Yes.
You can use our login.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I'm excited.
I listened to a podcast about that was talking about that, and they were saying that they don't know. None of them. It was 4 people. It's crime writers on. That's my favorite podcast to talk about all the time. None of them had read the book, so they don't know. They were saying that the show's good, but they don't know how it is compared to the book. So like they didn't want to talk about things too much in case it was in the So, but I've heard it's good.
Well, I can't remember. Reese Witherspoon is in it, and oh my gosh, she's married to Keith Urban. What's her name? She's been married to
Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
I don't know why I said Quinn.
Her and I think there was somebody else I can't remember, but yeah, I'm excited.
It has Reese Witherspoon, who's also a producer of it, if I remember correctly. Nicole Kidman, Shailene Woodley, Alexander Skarsgård, I think is how you pronounce that. I know who he is, but Adam Scott's in it. I love him. Zoe Kravitz is in it too.
All right, here's the description. Sometimes it's the little lies that turn out to be the most lethal. A murder, a tragic accident, or just parents behaving badly. What's indisputable is that someone is dead, but who did what? Big Little Lies follows 3 women, each at a crossroads. Madeline is a force to be reckoned with. She's funny and biting, passionate. She remembers everything and forgives no one. Her ex-husband and his yogi new wife have moved into their beloved beachside community, and their daughter is in the same kindergarten class as Madeline's youngest. How is this possible? And to top it all off, Madeline's teenage daughter seems to be choosing Madeline's ex-husband over her. How is this possible? Celeste is the kind of beautiful woman who makes the world stop and stare. While she may seem a bit flustered at times, who wouldn't be with those rambunctious twin boys? Now that the boys are starting school, Celeste and her husband look set to become the king and queen of the school parent body, but royalty often comes at a price, and Celeste is grappling with how much more she is willing to pay. New to town, single mom Jane is so young that another mother mistakes her for the nanny. Jane is sad beyond her years and harbors secret doubts about her son, but why? While Madeline and Celeste soon take Jane under their wing, none of them realizes how the arrival of Jane and her inscrutable little boy will affect them all. Big Little Lies is a brilliant take on ex-husbands and second wives, mothers and daughters, schoolyard scandal, and the dangerous little lies we tell ourselves to survive. Nicole Kidman plays Celeste, and Reese Witherspoon plays Madeline, but I don't remember what the young lady's name is that plays the Jane person. Because I did watch just
maybe I did or whatever.
Yeah, I did watch just a little bit of it, and then I thought, I think I really want to do the book first. So
I've almost bought the book before just because I really like her covers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like her covers too.
I think
it's pretty neat.
Her covers are pretty. But all of her covers, I don't know if they go together, like story-wise, but they're...
There you go.
My phone. The covers all are similar.
I have noticed that too.
I just think it's pretty, and I think that's a cool idea as an author to be like, this is my aesthetic, this is what my books look like. I know Gillian Flynn's books all have a similar aesthetic to them. So, or Gillian. Is it Gillian or Gillian?
Maybe it's Gillian. I can't remember.
One of those. Gone Girl chick.
Actually, I think in one of the ones I finished, they compared it to Gone Girl. The one, the J.T. Ellison book.
They compare everything to Gone Girl, and nothing is like Gone Girl, and it's not necessarily a compliment. I really like Gone Girl, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to read a crap ton of Gone Girls, you know what I mean? And I know that, I feel like, not that she invented multiple perspective books, I'm not saying that, but, you know, she did Gone Girl, and then, like, I feel like every thriller since then has been multiple perspective. I like it when it's done well. I think she does a good job with it, but I think her other books are so much better. Which I read Gone Girl first, and I really, really liked it, but I think if I had read her other books, I don't know if I would have liked Gone Girl as much as I did.
That's interesting.
She also has Sharp Objects. So she did Gone Girl, Sharp Objects, and Dark Places, which they actually turned into a movie with Charlize Theron.
Oh.
And it was actually pretty good. It's been so long since I've read it to when I saw the movie that I don't remember how well translated it was, but I thought it was really good. And then she also did the short story The Grown Up, which is really, really good.
Oh, is it?
And I think would have been a really killer, like, actual novel. But I was going to start a new book this week. But I find that I tend to start new books on Thursdays and Fridays, and then I don't listen to them all weekend, and I pick it back up on Monday. So I was like, I'm just going to listen to podcasts. So that's what I did this
week.
And we actually are going to be talking about one in tomorrow's episode. So I went ahead and picked my next book, but I'm waiting until Monday to start it. My Monday's commute to start it. I'm going to be listening to... I'm going to listen to Everything I Never Told You, and it's not showing up well.
That sounds good.
Everything I Never Told You. What I'm going to listen to is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. It's NG. I don't know how to pronounce that. So I apologize. But I've had this on my radar for a while, and I was going through books that I've had on my Audible, and especially ones that I've had for a long time. I'm like, you know what, this one I've had for a while now, so I'm gonna listen to it. This one it's a haunting debut novel about a mixed-race family living in 1970s Ohio, and the tragedy that will either be their undoing or their salvation. Lydia is dead, but they don't know this yet. So begins the story in this debut novel about a Chinese-American family living in a small town. Lydia is the favorite child of Marilyn and James Lee, their middle daughter, a girl who inherited her mother's bright blue eyes and father's jet black hair. Her parents are determined that Lydia will fulfill the dreams they were unable to pursue. When Lydia's body is found in the local lake, the delicate balancing act that has been keeping the Lee family together tumbles into chaos, forcing them to confront the long-kept secrets that have been slowly pulling them apart. James, consumed by guilt, sets out on a reckless path that may destroy his marriage. Marilyn, devastated and vengeful, is determined to find a responsible party, no matter what the cost. Lydia's older brother, Nathan, is certain the neighborhood bad boy Jack is somehow involved. But it's the youngest of the family, Hannah, who observes far more than anyone realizes, and who may be the only one who knows the truth about what happened.
That sounds good. I may have to add that to my list.
So that's not, I thought, yeah. So, and I honestly didn't really remember what it was about. I remember, like, it getting, like, a lot of praise. Having a hard time with words. I remember getting a lot of praise, like, forever ago, and it popped up on something recently, like, I think it was someone suggested it or something, and it kind of reminded me about it, so I'm really excited to listen to that one. So that's what I'm going to be listening to starting next week.
Good. So, you guys can go on the group, and if you've got any suggestions for good books,
specifically audiobooks. I'm good on my physical and my Kindle books. But,
I am too.
And I have quite a few on my audiobooks, but those are ones that I'm always like, should I read this one in a book? Should I listen to it? You know, so audiobook suggestions.
Yes.
Please and thank you. All right, so that's it for what we're currently and what we will eventually soon, before we talk to you guys again, be reading. So join us tomorrow where we're going to talk about some podcasts.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.